Dave, do you feel like you have to listen to the new Royal Blood album in chronological order? Typhoons.
Hmm. That's a good question. Uh, for the most part, it sounds very similar to me. So maybe that's also a no. I don't know. What do you think? Do you need to listen to Typhoons front to back?
Hmm. Well, I'm. It's interesting because Royal Blood is a group I've been like it's been on my peripheries, but and I've heard a couple of tracks, but never really like dug into them too much.
Right.
I think like "Figure It Out" is probably the song most people are familiar with them. And I believe that was off their first album, which was self-titled. Yeah, Royal Blood in
I
2014.
think that's off the second one from
Oh,
2017.
is it?
I think so.
Sorry.
Yeah. How do we get
Um,
so dark? Oh no, you're right. You're right. Yeah. 2014. So
okay.
they've been at it a while. This is their third album.
Yeah. Um, and I do respect that they seem to like take time between their albums. They're not just putting stuff out all the time. They're obviously putting some thought into these. Typhoons, I think, is interesting because it definitely sounds samey, and they're definitely going for like rock with dance rock, but I just don't know if it totally works all the time. I guess when I was listening to it, I kind of felt like this was the kind of band you would hear like a festival at like 5 o'clock from like across the way. And you'd be like, oh, I'm gonna like hang out in the back and like vibe to this, but I'm not
Hmm.
necessarily like, oh, Royal Blood have to be front row at that set, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I also was thinking about that in a little different lens, is because I think that's just kind of their ceiling. They're a duo from England, third album, and they're very much a successful rock band that's below the arena level. These guys can just go play 1,000 people rooms nationwide and across England every time they have an album cycle, and they'll be at every festival. That's what
Yeah.
they do, and it'll be very successful for them. And that's also probably all they ever get to do, you know?
Mhm.
Uh, on the other hand, though, Typhoons, I liked what I heard. I just enjoy that they actually have like really strong bass
Yep.
and uh, maintain a pretty high tempo most of the time. On the other hand, again, it also kind of goes in one ear and out the other. And when it sounds samey by the end, I feel like I largely tuned out because it's a lot of the same stuff. And not that I was disliking anything. I did think that one slow track, all we have is now at the end, definitely kind of came out of nowhere. But uh, just because no one really goes like that hard, I guess it's notable for that. Just because like they're like, what peers do they have in terms of this? Because like we're talking about people that go hard these days. It's like the post punk people we've been talking about a lot
Mm.
lately, right? Like they're from Brighton, England. We'll be talking about Squid next week, their debut album. They're also from
Yeah.
Brighton, England. Um, I think like Black Midi and stuff also from over there.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's kind of weird to be like, yeah, this is a band that has completely hit their ceiling. Like I don't know, it feels like a stupid thing to say, but like I just don't know like what else, because like they're not making music that like lends them to be getting like 1975 popular, you know?
Yeah. So, I agree. Like, I'm not sure where they go from here, but I also think that that lane isn't necessarily anything to be like knocking them about
No,
because
no,
I
it's not.
I
No.
definitely think these are really competent songs. Like,
I
Trouble's
like the
Coming.
songs.
I gotta say, Trouble's Coming sounds a lot like the Big Data Joywave song, Dangerous to me. Just kind of like that, like almost like thumping kind of like sound. Dun. I don't know, just really, and then his voice also just sounds a lot like that to me. Yeah, I guess that Joywave sound might really be like a good comparison for them. And I also thought songs like, I thought Who Needs Friends, I thought Limbo was pretty good. Boilermaker was fun. Like, there's some really fun tracks on here. It's like B level. It's like Dancy Black Keys, I guess. Like, you really are
Hmm,
just like,
sure, that's funny.
making them more dance hallish, or not dance hallish,
Yeah,
but just
not that, but
modern pop.
right.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess that's the easy comparison too, with like the two-person type set, but I don't know. It's just okay. Like, it really is just like that 5 o'clock band that you're like, oh, this was a good listen. and maybe I'll add
Hmm.
a song to a playlist. But you're probably never gonna hear someone be like, "Royal Blood is my favorite band of all time."
Yeah, that's probably a good
Isn't
way to put it.
isn't bad either. Like they're you need those B level groups. It just feels like rock doesn't have any A level group like
No,
that.
especially from like new acts. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. But yeah, I mean, on Typhoons, I like the bass line, pretty consistent. I like the tempo. I
Mhm.
like the singing. It sounds good.
Yeah, for sure. Who Needs Friends is probably my favorite. That like really like distorted guitar and just like really heavy thumping bass drum just is awesome. So I think Typhoons is worth the listen, especially if you like rock and you want to be listening to some new stuff. Just go in with the expectation that they aren't the saviors of rock, which I think is also like we've been talking about. This is an ongoing conversation. These bands that should not be put in the sphere, I think, get held up just because everybody wants to have that new exciting rock band, and sometimes you're not going to always find it in Royal Blood.